guys, today I'm going to be showing off the Flair Espresso Maker. It is an at-home espresso maker that is purely manual, so it has no electricity. It creates the espresso with the pressure as you pull down the lever. It comes in a variety of models. This is the signature model in the matte white, which also comes in matte black. They also have one level up, which is the Pro, one level down, which is the Classic, and then their newest model, kind of their base model, which is the Neo, that comes with this pressurized portafilter, which makes it a little bit easier if you're new to espresso or don't have a great espresso grinder. So all four of them, the different lines, are essentially the same mechanics for making espresso. They just have different kind of elements. The Pro has nicer kind of stainless steel elements. The Classic and the Neo have more plastic components, but generally the frame and kind of the overall mechanics of it are the same. So in the video, I will be talking about what I like about the Flair, some things that I think are a little bit lacking in it, and then also making espresso with it to show you how you can make espresso with the Flair. So let's start with that, with making the espresso, to see how the Flair works. So the first step in making great espresso is to measure out your beans with a scale. So I've done that, and I've ground these on demand. You want to make sure you're grinding right before you make the espresso, and use this funnel to kind of pour the grinds in, make sure they're an even, consistent grinder. I like to use this manual hand grinder that I got that's really good for espresso from Zpresso, but any kind of high quality grinder will do. Once you kind of bang them down, make sure you have them at an even bed. You're going to want to use the tamper that they provide to create a nice even bed of grounds. I use kind of two hands to make sure you're applying even pressure and create that nice even bed of grounds, because if it's uneven or inconsistent, that's going to create a shot that's not exactly as good as it could be. So then you set this screen on top, and you grab the cylinder, which I have been preheating on top of the kettle using the steam holes. You want to kind of get this hot at temperature so you don't lose temperature when you pour your hot water in, which would create not as good of a shot of espresso either. So you set this on, it's got the O-rings to kind of create the tight seal, and then you're going to pour near boiling water to the line. There's an etched line inside. It's probably hard to see here, but right to there. And then you take this piece that has, on the higher end models, the pressure gauge, so you can see what level of pressure you're pushing at. On the lower models, it just comes with a standard kind of plunger that sticks in. Both work. This is kind of nice to be able to see where you're at. The goal here is to get a shot that's around 35 to 45 seconds and at around 6 to 9 bars. So that's what I'm shooting for. Don't forget to put a shot glass underneath. I have definitely brewed espresso all over the counter before, which is not fun to clean up. And then I use my timer to make sure that I am at time, and let's go for it. So you want to apply even, steady pressure and get up to pressure after the pre-infusion and stay in that range for the full time. So that's where I'm at now. Just apply nice, even pressure. So we're coming to the end of the shot. Keep the pressure up and then just release right at the end. So I was right at the bottom end of that range that I was going for, but you can see it creates a really nice crema at the top of the shot. It's a really nice shot of espresso there. You can see here from the top, creates a nice shot. So at this point, all you have to do is you just kind of take these components apart, scoop out the espresso grounds, rinse them out, and you're good to go. That's all the cleaning that really needs to be done. Break it down, and you're good. Enjoy. So now that we've made espresso with the Flair, let's talk a little bit more about what I like and some of the shortcomings that I've found with the Flair. So to begin with, there's a lot to like about the Flair. The first thing is that it makes really great espresso and has the ability to make great espresso at home. The second thing is that it offers a range of price points. So if you have a really low budget, you can start with the Neo, that's just over $100, and then goes up to $300. And even at that $300 price point for the Pro, you're still looking at a really affordable way to make that quality of espresso at home versus the automated options to make that same quality would be significantly more. So it's really budget friendly. The third thing that I really like about it is that it's extremely portable and travel friendly. So it comes in this travel case and it easily compacts back down into it. This is actually where I store it after using it, even though it looked great on the counter. I just store it in here after every time. It's really easy to pack into here. You could easily take it on camping or other places. It doesn't require any electricity, so that's really nice about it. It also allows for cold and hot espresso, which is nice. So because it's pressurized, it allows you to use cold water actually with a cold pressed method to make cold espresso, which is really great for iced lattes and other things like that. Some of the shortcomings though, it is a little bit complicated. So when you open it up, there's a lot of different pieces that you kind of have to figure out what to do. So if you're new to espresso, and even if you're not, it requires you sitting down, looking at the manual, which is really well documented, but still requires you to read it probably to figure out what everything does and how to make it work. And the dialing in, which takes a little bit of time with every coffee to kind of make sure you get the right shot. The other thing is that it requires additional equipment. So even though you can make great espresso with this, you're going to need a water source. So you'll need some sort of kettle to brew with. You'll need a grinder. So I really like this Onesie Presso grinder, which is a manual grinder, but does a really nice job with the espresso fineness. And they also need a way to measure out the beans. So you could do that if you're on the go. You could have done that before, but you are going to want to measure out the beans versus just kind of eyeballing it like I mentioned before, so that you get the best kind of quality espresso that you can. So it does require some additional equipment. So in conclusion, I think the Flair is really great for three groups of people. One would be people who really like diving into the intricacies of espresso. If you are on the pour over side, measuring out your grounds, figuring out the grind size to make sure you bring out the most in the coffee, trying different brew methods, this would be a great option on the espresso side. If you instead prefer to just click a button and make your coffee with a Keurig or something, that's fine, but this probably isn't the best option because this does require a little bit more dialing in to get great espresso like good pour over. Other group would be people that want espresso that is portable, since it is travel friendly, especially if you figure out like a manual hand grinder. It's a great option to travel with, or if you're on the go, or if you have limited counter space, it's a great option to kind of store under the counter versus an automated machine that would really have to live on the counter at all times. And the third group, like I've mentioned before, would be people on a budget. To get this quality of espresso that you can get with the Flair on an automated machine, you'd have to spend significantly more. So for just a few $100s, you can make really great kind of cafe quality espresso at home in a way that you wouldn't be able to otherwise with an automated machine without spending significantly more. So I've really enjoyed using the Flair over these last few weeks, playing with it. It's become part of my weekly brew ritual whenever I make espresso, and I think that if you fit in one of those groups, you would really enjoy it as well.